Hi, I'm Wendy, and I am here today with the mid-year freak-out book tag. I seen this tag jumping around on YouTube quite a bit, and I decided to go ahead and do it myself, even though it wasn't actually tagged. Oh well. I have actually read quite a bit of books this year. Normally I can get like 5 or 6 in and I'm good, ready to go. This year I have actually managed to do 11, and I know a lot of you probably don't think that's a whole lot because you read like 40 or 50 books in a 6-month period. Some of you read more than that. Kudos to you. I like to take my time with books, and I am really impressed that I have managed to read 11 books this year. Normally I set my goal for 12, and so I might be able to just up that goal and maybe next year read a whole lot more. We will see. Until then, I'm going to do them. We're going to start with the questions. This tag has 15 questions, and the first one is best book you read so far this year. And the best book I've read so far this year is actually the Game of Thrones series by George R.R. Martin. I was kind of late on this bandwagon of reading these books, and that is fine. But fine, because I have enjoyed the stories all the same. Some of his characters are becoming some of my favorite characters of all time, and so I'm about halfway through. I'm not even halfway through this book. Normally it takes me like a month and a half to read his books. This one's taking me a little bit longer because I am in a book slump and I'm just kind of forcing my way through it. Still enjoying it, but still, it's there. The second question on the list is best sequel you've read so far this year. And I don't read too many sequel books, especially this year. I haven't read that many sequel books. So I would have to say Death Code by Lindsay Cummings, because it's one of the only real sequels that I've read this year. It's a 2-book series, and she pretty much wraps it all up real and tight by the end of this one, and I read both of these books within a month, and I enjoyed them. So Death Code, Lindsay Cummings. The third question on the list is new releases you haven't read yet but want to. New releases I haven't read yet but want to is Wendy's Button Box by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. This book came out, I think, last month or the month before, something like that. It's a little short story, so it's probably not even 100 pages long. And I got it in the Nocturnal Reader's box, and I've been looking forward to reading this. In fact, this will probably be my next read once I get through the 2 others I have started. Fourth question was most anticipated release for the second half of the year. My anticipated release for the entire year was actually Winds of Winter by George Martin, but for some reason he has stopped writing it and is now holding it hostage somewhere and is refusing to finish it for some whatever reason. God only knows. Don't you wish all writers could get away with that? Winds of Winter by George Martin, whenever that is going to be released, that is my most anticipated release for this year. Number 5th biggest disappointment this year for me was Glitter by April Lynn Pike. This story was supposed to be about a girl who lives in the 22nd century in the Palace of Versailles, where everybody pretends they are back in the 18th century. They dress and they act like they're back in the 18th century, and she is forced into a marriage that she wants nothing to do with, and so she goes about finding other ways to get out of the marriage and out of Versailles. And the ending was just kind of like, really, that's what happens? That's how you're going to end this? It was a huge disappointment, and I was hoping there would like be a sequel or something. I don't think I've seen a sequel. I haven't heard anything about a sequel, so whatever, it is what it is. 6th question, biggest surprise, that would be Normal by Warren Ellis. I got this book again in the Nocturnal Reader's box, and it's only like 100. It's another little short story, 150 pages, and it's about a man who gets sent to an asylum called Normal, where there's no internet, television, phones, nothing. It's completely cut off from the outside world because he is a researcher who researches the future along with everybody else in this asylum, and the future has driven him crazy. So, of course, they have to go somewhere special. And I didn't expect too much from it, mainly because it's not usually my topic, my area of read, which is a kind of apocalyptic sort of thing. It actually turned out to be one of my favorite reads of this year, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody who is looking for a short, simple read. So, number 7 on my list is favorite new author, debut, or new to you. Favorite new author, new to me, is Chuck Wendig. He wrote the Miriam Black series. I discovered him through his blog that he writes, the Terrible Minds blog, and through his writing advice books. And I decided to give one of his stories a read, and this is actually he actually turned out to be a really good author, a really good storyteller. I love his characters, and I am looking forward to reading more of his books in the future. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't have too many fictional crushes. I don't find myself crushing over a whole lot of characters, so I'm going to have to, for this question, I'm going to have to stick with this tried and true my original fictional crush, which is Lestat from the Vampire Chronicles. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to compete with Lestat. He is and always will be my forever boyfriend and everything. So moving on to number 8, it is newest favorite character. And my newest favorite character is actually a tie. It really is, because once again, I'm back to Chuck Wendig's Miriam Black. She is an amazing character. Strong-willed, opinionated, and doesn't really give a shit about what you think, which I love. And then there's also Trash Can Man from The Stand. I loved them. They're both fun to read, fun to follow along with. Number 10 is The Book That Made You Cry. This book seriously hit the feels when I first read it, and that is Stuff for the Children by Craig DeLuey. This book is about basically what happens in this book is all the children drop dead at one time, and then they come back and the parents have to deal with all of that. And as a mother to 2 little ones, I could not tell you what I would do in their situation, and reading what these parents did, their own, and this book gives you various different outlooks on how various different people would react, and it is absolutely heartbreaking, and I was crying through the majority of this book. So, number 11, The Book That Made You Happy. This book isn't really a book, it's more of a comic book, but Saga. I've only read the first one, not even going to lie, but the end of the first one has it to where the family is safe, they have protectors, and they are going to a new home, and that made me extremely happy to read about. And I know there's more, and I realize things happen in the rest of the books that I haven't gotten to yet, but I don't care, because right now I'm happy with how that one ended. Number 12, favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. I am cheating on this one, not even going to lie, because I haven't really seen too many book to film adaptations, mainly because I don't watch too many book to film adaptations. Every time I watch a film that was previously one of my favorite books, I always wind up getting disappointed, and I wind up hating both the book and the movie, though it's neither one of their fault. So I tend to avoid the films. But this year, Neil Gaiman's American Gods came out, and I have heard nothing but raving reviews on the TV series. for American Gods, and I've heard the book is really exceptionally good. So this year, some point, I am going to read and watch American Gods, and that will probably become my new book to film adaptation. Yes, because that's how it's going to be. Number 13, favorite review you've written this year. Again, I don't do too many book reviews. Not completely. Anyways, I may, when I finish a book, I may type out a quick sentence of whether or not I enjoyed it and whether I would recommend it, yada yada yada. I don't go into full-length reviews at all. But the one review that I did actually gush over when I was writing it was The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. Like I said, I read these books in like 2 weeks, and I loved how they turned out, and I loved how they were, so this is it. The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings, and it's upside down. It is my favorite book review I've done this year. 14, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I absolutely love the cover of this book, Born by Jeff Vandermeer. When I got this book, I was amazed by how soft and colorful it is, and if you tilt it in the light just right, which I don't think I can actually get on film, I can try, I can't. There is a, wait. There is a little image of a bear kind of growling at you. You can't really make it out. But it's a bear, and he's roaring at you. And I absolutely love this book. It is soft. It is so soft. Oh my god. And when I got this cover, I was freaking out about it. And I showed it to my husband and my kids. And my oldest was literally like, Mom, it's just a book. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's a pretty book. It's a really pretty book. If you're curious about what that thing is on there, I haven't a clue. I'm assuming the main thing in this book, what it's about, Born, is a thing that can morph into whatever he wants to, and I'm assuming that's him. I'm not 100% sure. But it's still very pretty, and it's very different, and I absolutely love this book cover. It's my favorite book cover. So, yeah. Anyways. Going on. The next question on this list is number 15. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I have quite a list of TBR that is growing and never stopping, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But the books I need to read before the end of the year is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I have every intention of reading this. I think I've mentioned that already. Stephen King's Dr. Sleep, because it's been on my TBR for a couple years now, ever since it came out. It's really sad. But anyways. And also the Stephen King novel, where did it go? Wendy's Button Box by Stephen King and Richard Chismar. So, yes. And this book, like I said, it's a very short book, so I should be able to get through this book and no problem and get on to some of my other books that I've been needing to read. So, that is it. That is the mid-year book freak out tag. If you want to see the original video, I'll leave the link for you down below. If you want to join in a conversation, feel free. Post your own videos. Until next time, bye.